here in his shrine.
You never should come here. There you are. Finish this.
Anything you can
Head over to the wretched Netch. The Ash has not much contact with us. There's nothing beyond the bulwark.
What happened?
I'm asking myself why Mirek is making us build these shrines. And I'm afraid we are.
Looking for any potions? Ingredients? I should mix some of this into my next potion. Who knows what would happen? Goodness, it must have been quite difficult tracking those creatures down out there. Here, take these. They should help you during your journeys.
Any luck tracking down Esmond? I told him not to head up there. Sounds like the bloody fool got what he deserved. Here, I want you to take this key. Head inside my house and unlock the door in the basement. Help yourself to whatever you like inside. I won't be using it anymore. Perfect. I was just thinking about heading over for a drink. Thanks for saving me the trip. So, you finally tracked down old Cretius, eh? Quite a character, isn't he? Tell you what, since you went through all the trouble of finding it for me and all, you keep it. I just wanted to remind that codger you can't just go around taking things from other people. Now that you've delivered the message, I'm satisfied. Besides, that pickaxe hasn't done me any good in years. Maybe you can put it to good use. Gods, that's rich. Work for Neloth. Glover Mallory's the name. If you're looking for a smith, you found one of the best.
No, I can't. It may be poison. Thank you, Outlander. Bless you, Sarah. I was one of the Veteran Guard under Captain Veleth's command. A few years ago, I was out on patrol with 2 other men when we were attacked by some ash spawn. They sprung from the ground with no warning and killed one of my companions instantly. I was so frightened I ran all the way back to Raven Rock. Unfortunately, I'd left the other guardsmen behind and he never made it. Captain Veleth discharged me from service. There isn't a single night that passes where I don't regret what I did. But it's too late for that now. I'd saw off my own leg for a septim. He couldn't pay me enough to do that.
Bring your
Another
weapons
day
and
of
armor to
misery.
me. I'll fix it up right.
Why you're leading Cretius on, I'll never understand.
Miserable. At least my father will let me drink whatever I want without complaining. Tell Geldis I appreciate it. Don't like it? I hate it. Every day it's the same thing. We open the shop, we hardly sell a thing, we close the shop and go to sleep. What kind of a life is that? Oh, believe me, I'd be on the first ship off this miserable island if I could. But I'm not sure I could do that to my father. I think it would break his heart. We've already lost my mother. I don't want to leave him alone. We lived in a settlement, perhaps a league from the border of Black Marsh, the homeland of the Argonians. Even though the Argonian invasion ended a long time ago, there are still a few scale-skinned clans that live within our borders. To put it simply, they attacked our settlement and slaughtered almost everyone. It was horrible. My father needs me. He can't run his market stand alone. Besides, Neloth is loony as skooma addict. He wanted my father to import a white mammoth, alive. You could try Drovus Relvi. He came in here asking my father if he needed any odd jobs done. Seemed kind of desperate. Keep yourself safe.
Azura's
Sarkhan's
wisdom,
still a dangerous
friend.
place.
Your visit here.
Another day
What?
of misery.
Oh, no, thank you. I need to keep my head clear. I'm perfectly content with my current position. Remember, we are watching.
Looking for any potions? Ingredients? Not on your life. I'd sooner try to swim back to Windhelm. Remember, I have plenty of potions
Spare
and
some
ingredients.
coin for
My
a
husband-
lost soul.
Sure, got nothing better to do.
Misery.
May your path be free from
I'll
danger.
give you the... Take that swill and pour it down a well. Not on your life. I'd have to be truly desperate to do that.
Most exiled dark elves call Vardenfelder.
Want to buy
I call
mining
Raven.
gear? No. However,
They'd last
I used to sell
1,000
East
years.
Empire pendants until I ran out of them. Popular little item. It's an amulet that was made exclusively for the East Empire Company. They gave them to their workers as an incentive at one point, a kind of reward for extra effort. They're no longer being made, so they've become a collectible. I'd love to get my hands on a few of them. Well, well. Seems you're proving fairly useful for an outlander. Here's your coin. Keep bringing me more, and I'll keep paying you for them. Geldis needs to bottle this up and send it to the mainland instead of wasting his time out here. His drinks are outstanding. Thanks. Don't be ridiculous. You ask around. Someone there might be crazy enough. The question you should be asking is, what don't I sell here? Because I have pretty much any supplies you might need. If it's not a weapon, potion, or armor, then it's likely that I have it. Jarland, over at the docks, brings me most of my supplies, and the rest comes from bartering with the people in town. Oh, Glover Mallory gets me a few things once in a while. He usually has the most amazing deals that I can't pass up. Bad? What if I told you that you're the first person that's even considered looking at my wares today. I've half a mind to contact my friends at the East Empire Company and see if they need an extra hand in Windhelm. Oh, absolutely. In fact, I've corresponded with Vittoria Vici herself more than once. You know, the lady who runs the East Empire Company warehouse in Solitude. The biggest warehouse they have in Skyrim. Ah, you're just like the rest of the folks around here. Mark my words. The East Empire Company will return to Raven Rock, and when they do, I'll be at the top of their list. Just what you see here. The East Empire pendants are scattered all over, so leave no stone.
Anything you can offer, please. I'm starving.
Obey our law, or suffer the consequences.
Worker. Sorry. Gildas won't allow me to... you mean leave Raven Rock? For good? To go work for a crazed Telvanni wizard? Sure. Just let me get me things. On second thought, never mind. I can get new stuff. Well, I've never been one to pass up an opportunity. Sorry to run, but I'm off to my new job. Welcome to the Retching Netch Corner Club, home of the finest Sue Jammer that will ever grace your lips. Come back anytime. My doors are always open.
Teldrins, then let's be off. Lead on. Splendid. Another mouth to feed.
Miserable. Just miserable.
Your visit
Oh, I hate this
My husband Bendel's here. Visitors.
Welcome to... Always a pleasure to taste anything Gildas comes up with. Got the best merchandise on the island. Have a look for yourself. Next time you're hungry, stop
We
by.
are watching you.
I
Want
always
to
have
buy
good
anything,
for sale.
or just laugh at our misfortunes? The East Empire...
Misery. I'll give you misery. Try getting a sign to scrape neck scum off the front of the folder. We've got our eyes on you.
Are you here to pray? Or perhaps pay your respects at our ancestral tomb? There where we inter our dead. They are sacred places, meant to honor their passing. Sadly, we've been unable to use the ancestral tomb beneath the temple as of late, and have resorted to other locations to scatter the remains. I've spent enough time on those foul vermin. The abominations we call ash spawn have risen from the ashes of our own ancestors. They're befouling the memories of our forefathers by defiling their remains. Thank you, Wanderer. That would be most kind. Here, this key should open the door to the tomb. The reclamations are the true tribunal, the Daedra that consecrate the Dunmer people, Azura, Methala, and Boethia. We call them the true tribunal because they have reclaimed their place in our hearts from the false tribunal that came before. Sotha Sil, Amalexia, and Vivek represent what was beings who won the Dunmer people's hearts with their actions, but blinded them just the same. They were aberrations, false prophets. They used their status as heroes to shield the true tribunal from our minds. But now that they've been destroyed, the light can finally shine upon the House of Reclamations. The Dunmer race doesn't bury their dead, or leave them to rot inside a stone sarcophagus. When a Dunmer passes, his body is given to fire, so he might return to the ash from whence he came. The Dunmer don't believe that death is the end. We believe that it's the beginning. Be cautious, friend. The ash spawn are soulless beings with no regard for compassion. Excuse me, but the temple is for followers. Get that vile liquid away from me. Non-believers are never welcome here. There's something you need. The entire island isn't covered in ash. What's our next move? Long story, but I don't see the harm in sharing it with you. My last patron was a true Nord. He was dressed in animal skins, had tattoos on his face. A real traditional type, if you know what I mean. He had an insatiable bloodlust and was extremely stubborn. One of the toughest employers I've ever had. Simple. He paid well. Very well. Anyway, we'd just cleared a ruined fort somewhere outside of Whiterun, and when we got outside, we saw one of them galloping away on horseback. Well, my boss wasn't about to let him get away, so we pursued. On foot. For 3 days. Until we ended up tracking him to one of the largest bandit encampments I'd ever seen. My patron took one look at me and made the most menacing grin I'd ever seen. At that moment, I knew I'd never see him again. No amount of money would ever be worth that kind of death. If it'll help us get moved... Right behind you. Hope we don't run into too many ash spawn.
Can I help you?
You're back.
Please, tell me what you found. Let me see that. Huh, I knew it. Gratian's death wasn't because of a rockfall. It was just a story to keep people away from the tombs. Now that I have his journal in hand, I can get some closure from the East Empire Company. Make them pay for lying to everyone. Thank you. Now, I believe I owe you a little more than a debt of gratitude for all that work you did. Here, it's not much, but it's the best an old retired miner can do. Our home has stood in Raven Rock since the colony was founded. Grayson helped build it with his own 2 hands. After Grayson died, he left behind a wife and a son. My grandfather, Relicus. Relicus lived there for quite a long time, working in the other sections of the mine until he was slain by Reavers. I never knew my father. My mother and I always lived alone. I asked her about him many times, but she seemed angry and refused to speak about him. So eventually, I let it go. When I was old enough, I began working in the mine, hoping to make my fortune and eventually move to the Imperial City. Unfortunately, yes. I only had enough coins saved to send one of us back to the Imperial City. So I sent my mother alone. I wanted her to see her homeland before she died. Until I met my darling Aphia, yes. I suppose you could have called me a bitter old hermit. Now I'm just old. Those cowards left decades ago. Every single damned one of them. The moment the ebony mine dried up, they pulled up stakes. Ridiculous. Solstheim is still rich in ebony ore. I know there's more down there. I can smell it. I come from 3 generations of miners, and I'm telling you that the East Empire Company was wrong. They just didn't want to spend the coin trying to find it. Mark my words, Raven Rock isn't finished yet.
You lost?
My apologies for doubting you, Seryo. You might think it's all perfume and roses now that the mine's open, but all I see is a new security problem on our hands. Making sure those shipments of ebony make it safely from the mine to the shipping docks is my new order of the day. And with Solstheim crawling with Reavers and Azora knows what else, I can't risk any attacks on Raven Rock. I appreciate the help you've been giving us.
Your efforts... Oh, how kind. Thank Gelders for me, won't you? My husband is second counselor, so I...
Your contributions have earned you citizenship here, friend. I'll always consider you one of us. Good old Geldis is always managing to keep our spirits up, and our eyesight hazy. Thank you. With the mines open, Raven Rock has become a significant colony of the Dunmer people again. I've been able to convince my superiors at House Redoran to send me the resources that they've been denying, now that we're deemed more important. Soon, we'll have a steady supply of workers and materials to keep things going for years to come. Solstheim is theoretically under my rule, but without revenue from the mine, I lack the resources to actually govern anything but Raven Rock itself. Not that there's much beyond the confines of our town anyway. Well, there's a small enclave of Nords to the north in Skarl village. They pretty much keep to themselves, and we both like it that way. Then there's Tel Mithryn to the east. The Telvanni live out there. Sort of a strange lot. But since we're both from Morrowind, we get along. Other than that, Solstheim is crawling with bandits and reeklings. But that's to be expected living in a frontier like this. You've never heard of House Redorin? We're the mightiest of the great houses, and we lead the Council, the ruling body of Morrowind. This isn't Skyrim, Outlander. A group of powerful and influential Dunmer families have been ruling Morrowind for millennia. They embody a council made up of 5 great houses: Telvanni, Dres, Indoril, Sadras, and Redorin. Well, of course, with 4 other houses on the council, someone has to keep the rabble organized. Our house leads the council by virtue of our preeminence in battle, wisdom, and ancestral glory. Pity that one of our own people doesn't fully grasp our ways. If you're interested in pursuing the subject, help yourself to any of the historical volumes in my library. My doors are open if you wish to discuss matters involving Raven Rock.
My apologies for doubting you, Seryo. I appreciate the help you've been giving us.
If you witness suspicious activity, report it to
Your
Captain
contributions
Velas
have earned you citizenship here, friend. I'll
You
always
brought
consider
Raven
you
Rock
one of
back
us.
from the brink, traveler.
Your visit
I don't know
here
how
will
to
be
thank you.
tolerated as long as you
My
abide
husband is
by
second
our
counselor,
laws.
so I
Otherwise,
certainly have the
you'll
means
answer
to...
I've sworn to keep Councillor Morvain safe, and I intend to take that oath.
I'm glad that I'm finally traveling with someone who seems competent. My last patron was killed trying to tackle an entire fort of bandits alone.
I don't know what you did in those mines, but it put a smile on Cretius's face. He never seemed so happy.
For all I know, I might be the last Imperial left on Solstheim. Of course. In fact, Councillor Morvain has given you the full run of the place. Help yourself to whatever you like. We're all in agreement that you're entitled to as much as you can carry. I've been made... It's good. Best of all, Aphia isn't so cross when I go down there anymore. Thank you, stranger. Thanks.
Don't be put off.
What? Never seen a red...
I work for Mo...
You've brought Ravenrock back from the brink, traveler. I don't know how to thank you.
Welcome to the... Perfect. All that's left now is to go ahead and wait for the patrons to come in. As promised, here's a little something for yourself. How do you... I've got regular paying customers again. Thirsty workers at the end of the day.
Your actions here have
and
been a
more
blessing
coin
to
than
us
I
all.
can
You
count.
got a good thing. I've always... However, I've seen the smile on people's faces, and there's hope around here once again.
All I'm
Something
wondering
we've
is
been
how
lacking
long
for
it'll
a
take for
long
House
time.
Redoran to begin
If you're
ignoring
looking
us
to
again
purchase
if the mine
something,
runs out of
speak to
ore
my
for a
father,
second.
Feckis. Keep yourself safe.
Your spirits be praised. I'm hoping you didn't suffer much at the hands of those foul beings.
Please, accept this as a token of my thanks.
May Azura, Mafala, and Boethia guide. This is House Redoran territory. If it wasn't for the bulwark, we'd be digging our houses up. What are you gawking at? If you find the time, couldn't hurt to pay your respects.
I trust you're not planning any trouble. What can I do for you, friend?
Your contributions have earned you citizenship here, friend. I'll always consider you.
They serve the
one of
best
us.
soup jam I've ever tasted of it.
I trust you're not planning any trouble. What can I do for you, friend? My husband Bendel feared visitors would shun Ravenrock. I'm glad to see he was mistaken.
Anytime you want to head for Skyrim, I'm right with you. I've spent enough time on Solstheim to last a lifetime. Make way! This may be the frontier, but we've still got room. Break.
What are you gawking at, Outlander? Dawnguard.
Thanks. I wasn't sure I'd make it off this farm alive. I wish I could have said the same for my man here. Some of the Redder Guard have taken to calling them ash spawn. Me, I don't care what they're called. All I know is they're a danger to Raven Rock and they need to be stopped. I was going to search for clues that might lead me to wherever they're coming from. I know it isn't the best place to start, but we know they've been coming from this direction. I think I could talk the Counselor into paying you, and I could use an extra pair of hands. Besides, I don't feel comfortable leaving Raven Rock behind, and I'd hate to lose any more Redder Guard. We were searching the farm when the ash spawn ambushed us. Have a look around and see if you can turn up anything useful. No one knows, really. Superstitious folks say they're the risen forms of those that died long ago, but I'm not so certain. They started attacking the bulwark a few weeks ago. My men were able to kill them, but they keep coming back. We've had 2 other assaults on the bulwark, at different spots on the wall. I know it sounds crazy, but it's almost like they're becoming more organized and probing it for weaknesses. Exactly. Something has to be directing them against us, and we need to find out who or what it is. Report back to me if you discover anything unusual. Have you found something? I don't. All I know is that the ash spawn are coming from this direction, so this is as good a place to start as anywhere else. Good thing the farm's been abandoned for a long time. I'd hate to see what they would do to an unarmed farmer and his family. Not sure. I was told it was an old Imperial farm that was wiped out by the eruption of the Red Mountain. Not certain who lived there. It was already a pile of rubble when I arrived in Raven Rock. I've had to muster some more. Second count. I say let them try. My men are ready for them. This is strange. The note says it's from General Folks Carius, but that's impossible. Well, Carius was the Imperial garrison commander at Fort Frostmoth, but he died over 200 years ago when the Red Mountain leveled the place. There's no way he could still be alive. If General Carius is still alive, there must be something keeping him that way. I need you to head out to Fort Frostmoth and check it out. I'm gonna head back to Raven Rock and prepare the men for further assaults. Be careful. This General Carius sounds out of his mind.
Hope we don't run into too many spawn out here.
An invader has entered the... Fort Frostmoth will never fall. Long live the Empire! Watch it!
Despite the foul beings that infest this place, I'm certain we'll find plenty of wealth to make it worth our time. Despite the foul beings that infest this place, I'm certain we'll find plenty of wealth to make it worth our time.
Yes! Die! Despite the foul beings that infest it,
I'm certain we'll find plenty more that make it worth our time.
What news do you bring from Fort Frostmoth? I had my suspicions that he was undead. How else could he have survived for over 200 years? It's a shame. There are quite a few tales of General Carius's exploits, including the founding of Raven Rock. Councillor Morvain told me to give this to you if you made it back in one piece. And you got rid of General Carius. Better than a soldier's pay, so you should be thankful. I'm sorry to bother you, but Second Councillor Rano asked me to come find you. He said it's quite urgent. All he wanted me to do is track you down and send you to him. Look, this is important. Even more important than wiping out the Ash Spawn. Please, go speak to the Second Councillor as soon as possible.